Psalm 51. We looked briefly, really, at verse 18 last time. Look with favor on Zion and help her. We the whole idea of Zion, of Jerusalem, David's, easy and safe to say, David's favorite city on the planet. Look with favor, God. Now, I think a junior high kid, maybe even a junior high boy, would be able to understand what it means to look with favor. Does God literally look with favor? Well, yeah, kind of. It is a figurative statement. It's symbolic, but see, one of the facts here in play is that God was never not looking on Zion. You see, and this is, I would say, virtually impossible for us humans to be able to really comprehend. But God is so infinite that the theological word is omnipresent, meaning he is present everywhere. There is no place that he is not. And because of that, and a second aspect of his nature that theologians call omniscience, meaning he knows everything. There's nothing that God will discover. How's that? It's not that he's capable of knowing everything. He's just that smart. He already knows everything, including what's in the future that we don't know yet. For us, the future is only somewhat predictable, but it is not knowable. For God, totally known. God never looked away from Jerusalem, from Zion. But there were times when his favor, well, he withheld his favor. If you look, read the books of especially 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles, the story of Israel, and then it's divided after Solomon. You have Israel and Judah, and king after king after king after king, for what seems to me stupid reasons. Very ignorant reasons, rebellious reasons, turn their back on Jehovah God, and they worship idols and take on the traditions and practices of the pagans that God had conquered through them. And then, God saw it all, and he knew it all before it would ever happen. He didn't look with favor on Zion at that point. Well, okay, we talked about last time a little bit about it's a reasonable prayer to ask God to look on your city with favor. My city, Las Vegas, there are, at first glance, on the first surface run, Las Vegas is not a godly city, especially, excuse me, if all you know about Las Vegas is the Strip. There's a lot of ungodly stuff that happens on the Strip or around the Strip. And yet, I can tell you from firsthand personal experience, God has people there. I pray for God to look on Las Vegas with favor. Um, he what he does for us, even in the state of rebellion and I mean, so much of the reputation of my city is built around graft and greed and prostitution, and you just run down the list. And yet, God's not looking away. I pray for him to look on us with favor, that his people will be bolstered in their faith and in their courage to speak up and stand out. Well, David says, look with favor on Zion and help her. And then a phrase that probably means somewhere between little and nothing for most of us in reality. Rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. In ancient times, excuse me, a city of any size, not just a town or a village, but a city, would have walls. And the point of the wall was simple. We want to protect the city and its inhabitants. Okay, now you realize, I think, that David could be talking about the literal walls of Jerusalem that he wishes God to rebuild, but more likely it is a symbolic statement of David's desire for God to create this wall of protection for his people. I want to talk about a wall and a city on a symbolic level that I think is the most important city and the most important wall of all. I want to refer to this city as your family, your marriage, and if you have kids, your kids, if you have grands, your grands. Your family is a city. What are the walls? What's the purpose of the wall, the symbolic wall around your city? It's for their protection. Now I'm going to sound like a kind of one of those fire breathers. But no, I don't. I'm not much of a fire breather. I hope you know that. I mean, I hope I demonstrate that. But you will say, oh, you're one of those conservative guys, and the answer is, yeah, I really am. But at my age, my youngest daughter is 43. I have a 19-year-old grandson, all the way down to a 7-year-old grandson. They're my family. Now, they're not in my household anymore. And so the application of this idea of the wall around my family, the city, it's changed. It's still there. It's just a different application these days. Here's the general application. Every family needs boundaries, which is what a wall represents. Every family needs boundaries that protect it. From what? Look around. Read the newspaper. Well, don't. If you've got any depressive tendencies, don't bother with the newspaper. But The most I can stand is the 90-second news break on the radio, and it usually makes me nauseated. But the world is evil, okay? I don't think I have to prove that to anybody. Your family needs a boundary against the evil of the world. There are things that come across our TV screen that I step back and think about it, and I think, what? How, I'm baffled. How in the world did we make things that are, in my opinion, clearly outside the boundaries of God's design and will, a primary marketing tool? Holy cow. It's so tempting for me to climb up on my soapbox and just start hammering away at specific things. I'm not going to give in to that urge. I don't have to, because I think you know what I'm talking about. When your kids are young, you have to be vigilant about what comes into your home. I don't think you have to be mean about it, but you probably do have to be firm. Oh, and by the way, if you're going to be vigilant about this, you got to know what's coming into your home. I know it sounds like an old guy on a rant for me to say, you need to plan how much and what kind of and what specific TV programs your kids are going to watch. And oh, by the way, be a real smart thing for you to do that for yourself as well. What comes into us has influence. It makes a difference. And the gates of our senses, our ears and our eyes in this particular thing, it's huge, because they are both directly connected to your brain, and your brain has this amazing ability to register and remember stuff, good or bad. All right. Your city, your family needs boundaries. What will you permit yourselves to see, and what will you not permit yourselves to see? Where will you go and where will you not go, and why? Now, I've been talking about the things I want the boundary to exclude, okay? What about things within the boundary? Boy, there's great literature that your kids need to be exposed to. There actually are some things on television that are worth watching and viewing. Figure out what those things are, and let's do that. They're nature. Holy cow. Especially if you live in a city. You need to get out. You need to take your kids out there. Okay. The city. Now, what if you're like me and your kids are grown and gone? Well, one of the things, an important thing for us to do for our kids, is to ask God for His protection. I pray the rabbinical prayer, or the Levitical prayer rather, every morning for my kids. God, bless and keep my kids and grands. And then when you have the opportunity, model a joyful life, a joyful city with firm, secure boundaries. Well, there's so much more I would go into, but I've already blown past my time limit. See you next time on Soul Care with Stevie Boy.